Hey everyone, thanks for joining us for our next session, Getting Started with SQL and AI. My name is Anna, I'll be your producer for this session. I'm an event planner for Reactor, joining you from Redmond, Washington. Before we start, I do have some quick housekeeping. Please take a moment to read our code of conduct. We seek to provide a respectful environment for both our audience and presenters. While we absolutely encourage engagement in the chat, we ask that you please be mindful of your commentary, remain professional and on topic. Keep an eye on that chat. We'll be dropping helpful links and checking for questions for our presenters and moderators to answer. Our session is being recorded. It will be available to view right here on the Reactor channel. With that, I'd love to turn it over to our speakers for today. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much, and welcome everybody to our first episode in the SQL and AI Datathon series. My name is Jasmine, and I'm here with Carlos, and we're going to be walking through a couple things. We'll be walking through what the Datathon is, as well as the SQL extension, our MS SQL extension that Carlos is going to walk us through to help you be more productive as a developer in the VS Code with SQL in a VS Code environment in your development environment. So we're going to go ahead and hop in. But Carlos, do you have anything to say before we get started?
No, I'm just wanted to say that super excited to be here today. Super excited about this event. So yeah, I don't have anything else.
Sounds good. Welcome.
Yeah.
All right. So the SQL and AI Datathon is a series of missions, and these missions will guide you through starting from building a database to creating some tables, loading that table with embeddings and seed data. And then at that point, we'll leverage SQL Server 2025's newest AI features to generate embeddings and turn any queries into those embeddings so that we can do some semantic searching. So we'll walk through those. We'll walk through some of that today. But this Datathon essentially starts with these guidance for you to get started on your AI journey, and anybody can join it. So if you are new to programming, if you're new to SQL, if you're new to AI, this is a totally accessible challenge for you to try. Like I said before, all the missions are guided, so you can kind of walk through all the different steps throughout the session or throughout each mission. In addition to that, we have some practical concepts on top of that. So embedding, semantic search, you'll learn a little bit about a retrieval augmented generation, also known as RAG, as well as agents, which we'll get into in the next session. And then finally, if any of you are going to SQLCon 2026, let us know in the chat. But if you are looking to be an attendee and you don't have a ticket yet, the Open Hack Challenge is your opportunity to win a ticket to SQLCon. And all you have to do is add your own creative twist on top of what you learn in the Datathon. And let's talk a little bit more about the structure of the Datathon, and we'll talk a little bit more about the Open Hack at the end. So the Datathon starts with embeddings and vectors, and so essentially you'll learn how to generate text embeddings and store vectors in SQL for semantic search. And mission ends with performing some semantic search. And then the second part is retrieval augmented generation, or RAG. We'll learn how to use RAG, and we'll do this all in with some SQL scripts. And then in mission 3, we'll hop into some notebooks to use frameworks like LangChain and semantic kernel to make our agents have our agents retrieve our data and give us some of the responses. And then finally, the last mission is building out a full stack application with the data API builder. Okay, so just talking a little bit more in detail about the Open Hack. The first thing here is that you have two options on how to participate in terms of what you want to build. So you can either create a chatbot or a semantic search tool. And so either one that you choose, they both need to use SQL as the data source. You can use the data source that we provide for you in the challenges and the missions, or you can provide your own. And we will be judging by a few criteria. I can show you a little bit later when we hop into the repository itself. But in addition to that, if you're going through these missions and you're like, I'm not sure what to build yet, you can get inspiration at aka.ms/budget bytes. That is our new series where we are showcasing ways to use the free Azure SQL offer, but gives you very generous amounts of space and compute, and allows you to essentially shows you how to build AI apps for under $25. The second episode just launched today, so highly recommend that you check that out. And then the second link is the SQL AI samples, aka.ms/SQL-AI-samples, to find even more SQL powered AI samples. And with that, like I mentioned before, the first thing that we're going to get into are these first two missions, and we actually will be using the MSSQL extension for Visual Studio Code to walk through them. Before we get into that, we're going to have Carlos give us a little bit of a walkthrough of the extension itself. Carlos, take it away.
Yeah. Thanks, Jasmine. So, oh, we lost your screen, I believe.
Are my slides still up? Let's see.
Carlos, we actually lost your screen.
Oh, okay.
well,
I'm
well,
resharing my screen. Go
I
ahead,
have
Jasmine.
my slides here, so we can go through your slides if you'd like to do that first.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you
Great.
so much.
Mhm.
All right. So, can we move to the next slide, please?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Thank you so much, Jasmine. So, real quick, I'm going to put my timer here just to make sure I'm I'm aware of how much time I have. Really quick here. So, yeah, let's start with a brief intro about the different tools. So, today I'm going to be speaking about the MS SQL extension for VS Code, but that doesn't mean that it's the only option we have. So, in the Microsoft SQL Experiences team, we understand that we have different type of persona, different type of users. So whether you are a DBA or administrator using Windows, you have an option as SSMS. If you're a developer, you can choose the MS SQL extension that I'll be showing today. If you're working on something more deep, let's say you need a more complete IDE, Visual Studio might be your option. And we have a couple of portal experiences, whether you're working on Fabric or Azure SQL, or the Azure portal, excuse me, you can use a Simplify editor to connect to your database and work from there. So the message here is that depending of what you are doing, we have options for you. So hopefully you feel free to explore all those options. Other things that you can see right there on the screen is that we believe that all databases should be under source control. So whether you're using VS Code, SSMS, Visual Studio, you have those capabilities. You have GitHub Copilot. So we'll be talking about that today. So just wanted to cover that. So thank you, Jasmine. So yeah, next slide, please. In the next slide, this is an intro to the VS Code extension. So for those in the audience that are not familiar with the MS SQL extension for VS Code, this extension has been out for a while, but we started this like revamp journey. It was probably around Ignite 2024 when we started working on this extension, and so far we have been delivering a lot of experiences. So you will see that there are multiple tools that will help you manage your schema. There are multiple tools that will help you to get up to speed with local development. You can create a local container. That's exactly what I will be using today. And our main goal here is to have a lightweight experience for you to move as fast as possible on your development process when you're working with SQL databases in VS Code. And I think I have one last slide. And yes, this is just a quick note here to the latest and greatest features we delivered in the previous release. So general availability of GitHub Copilot in Ask Good Agent mode. You will see me we're using it today. We introduced view and edit data. Now it's a different way you can explore your data and make changes on the go. We hear the feedback, so we deliver the DACPack integration, so you can use DACPack or Backpack to export, to import your databases using this method. And the SQL database project, which is part of the same extension, has now a new published dialog that you can use to deploy your databases to different targets. And with that, I think that's all I have for the slides. I would like to jump into it. Let me share my screen. By the way, my screen is I don't know what's
Okay.
going on here, but I would like to jump into the into the VS Code extension itself to give you a quick intro, and I have a, I would say, a simple demo today that is related to what you were talking, Jasmine, about RAG and all that's those AI capabilities. But I will keep it simple because I know other speakers will be covering that topic in detail. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with the MSSQL extension. If you're not familiar, as I mentioned, all you need to do is go to the marketplace here in VS Code, and from here you can simply, let me just modify this. You can simply hit the install button, and that's all you need to do. As I said, we have an integration with GitHub Copilot, so obviously you will need to have the GitHub Copilot here, the GitHub Copilot extension installed. You will need a free subscription. If you're in a pro subscription, that works, of course. So all you need is to make sure you have all these prerequisites in place, and you will be able to do whatever I'm doing today. And by the way, this repo is public, so I will drop the link later in the chat just to make sure you can repro this. This is running in a dev container, so everything that you see me doing today, it's something that you can repro very easily in this repo. So that's it. That's the extension. How you install it, super simple. And after you install the extension, if you don't have a database here to try this out, you can create a database. You see right here that this connection group that is called local databases has these 3 containers. And one container is running in this code space. And I created this container just by using this experience. So let me go here. And just by selecting, oh, sorry, that was so quick. So by selecting this button right here that says deployment or new deployment, you can select if you want to deploy a SQL database in Fabric, or you can create a local container. In this case, I'm using a local container, and all it takes is probably like four to 5 clicks. As you can see, it's checking the prerequisites, making sure you have Docker installed, you have Docker running. In case you don't have it running, it will start for you. And from here, you just need to pass the password, the profile name, a connection group if you want to create a new one or use an existing one, and that's all you need. Super easy. So that's that's experience. That's what I did. That was like prerequisite here. So let me give you a quick tour. Let's close everything here. As I said, we have a connection dialog here. From the connection dialog, you can control if you want to connect to an existing database using parameters, or you can load a connection string. You can browse Azure resources, Azure databases, and connect from here. Do the same with Fabric. So super simple, excuse me, straightforward. So I'm not going to cover that because that's super basic. And as I said, that's a couple clicks, maybe a little bit boring for you. And from here, from the extension, as you can see, I can browse my objects using the new capability that I mentioned, edit data or explore data. I can make changes here to my data in line if I want. We have other tools like right here. If I do a right click on the database, I can do a schema designer. I can compare this schema against a different target, for example. I can do imports of the using Backpack. I can open GitHub Copilot in Ask mode or in agent mode and do a little bit more here with database projects. Today, I'm going to be focusing on showing this app. So let me switch to my app really quick. So I have this app. It's fairly simple. It's for demo purposes, so I get it. So this app is nothing more than a library management web app where I can visualize all the different books I have. I don't have many books here. I can add new books here. I can add new authors, and in the book section, I believe if I add a book, I can select one of my existing authors or create a new one. So super basic app. But as you can see, this app is missing something very obvious here that all these apps has nowadays. And this little icon here, a little chat button. Let me click again. There we go. It says it's a library assistant. So it's an AI component that my manager just asked me to introduce to this app. I'm like, okay, I'm not very familiar with this project. And this project happens to use Node and uses React and uses SQLize for the ORM. And it's using obviously SQL Server for that database. So let's say this is an I'm not too familiar with this stack, and I'm more, let's say, a Python guy, and that uses SQL Alchemy. So I need to get up to speed, and I was asked to like put this functionality in place for this. So what I will do here in this scenario, as I mentioned, we introduced and it's now in GA, this integration with GitHub Copilot. So I can take advantage of GitHub Copilot to get me up to speed with this project. And the project is here, as I mentioned, it's available. It's nothing complicated. It's a backend on Node.js here. Here's the front end in React. So I can probably browse, and something happened to my, let me share my screen again. And there we go. All right. I can probably browse here and understand the models, and let me, where's my models? Oh, right here. So as I said, I have a SQLized models here, so I can understand the different entities. But let's say I am not familiar with this ORM. I'm more a SQL Alchemy guy, so I get up to speed. So I can use GitHub Copilot for that reason. GitHub Copilot will get the context of my database, and that's super important. The ORM is a reflection of what I have on my database. So I'm pushing this model into my database to create my schema. That means that I need something to help me connect the dots here, and GitHub Copilot can be that. So if I do a right click, and we lost my screen again, not sure what's going on here with Lightstream. Oh, sorry, that's not the right. Yeah, stop screen, share screen. I apologize for this. These technical issues always. This is live, so all right. So let me go back to this, and I'm going to do a right click. Oops, right click here, and I'm going to say, let's start with something simple with Ask Mode. So probably you're very familiar with Ask Mode at this point, and you see that right here in the GitHub Copilot, and we can make this bigger. In the GitHub Copilot, it is just connecting to my database through the MSSQL chat participant, and it's giving me here the context. So I am connected to a library database, but that doesn't mean that I can connect to other databases. I can switch context, and this is required just for Ask Mode. If I'm in Ask Mode, I need to have a query editor open and connected to a database. But as I said, I can change here the I can change the context. Once again, my not sure what's going on. Maybe it's an issue with StreamYard, but it happened before you do that, Jasmine, and we lost it. Maybe I will need to join back using a different browser.
If anybody has any questions
Yeah.
as well, while Carlos is getting set up, feel free to put them in the chat, and we can talk through them after your demo.
Yeah, that sounds good. All right, so it looks like it's stable now. So let's move forward. So as I said, I can change databases here. I can switch by using this button right here, and that will use the extension capability to switch databases. But now that I'm in Copilot, I don't want to leave this experience. So if I do a slash command here, you will see that we have plenty of options for you to use here and explore these database. So for example, if I want to switch a database, you notice that there was here one that says change database. I can do it from here, and that will like switch the database for me. But in this case, let's focus on the demo. I need to understand the schema, right? So I need to understand what's going on, what are my different tables here. So if I do list tables, I should be able to get the list of different tables in this database because GitHub Copilot now has the context of my database. And that is incredible in my opinion, because I don't have to jump into the code. I don't have to jump here in OE. Obviously, I can do it if I want, but just by asking these questions, the model should respond to me accurately. And right now, I think it's connected to the master database, and that's why we're getting not a good result. So let's change the database really quick, and we will change to the library database. But you notice that I got the list of tables here. So let's switch to library, and let's do the same again. List table. So I know this is fairly simple, extremely simple, but I just wanted to get you introduced to the basics, right? So this is the basics using a slash command, changing the connection. You can explore your database, but what happens if you say, like, Carlos, that's boring, like that, I don't feel like this is helping me because I want to do more. I use agent, I want to move faster. Yes, you can absolutely do that. So right here I got my list. So let's switch a little bit here gears, and let's make sure I'm in agent mode. Yes, I am in agent mode. So the extension has the capability, like as I mentioned, this integration helps you to understand your schema, to get answers about your database, but why not just visualizing the schema? So in agent mode, we have a plenty of tools here that we can use for different things. I can run a query. I can explore my schema, but I can also see my schema. So let me close this real quick. And I'm going to use one of those tools. And I would say, let's close this as well. Let's say I can do it like this, doing hash sign and then show schema. And right now, the agent has no information about my connection and anything. So I will expect the agent to ask me and figure out what is the database I want agent to connect. But I can say, for example, like using the, using the GitHub, I think it's GitHub Copilot. Let's see, GitHub Copilot AI profile, connect to my library database, and and let's not use this, and show me the schema. So with that, I will expect agent to figure out what I want. It's going to take a look at the different profile names I have here. So right now it's happening. As you can see, it's listing the different connections. So we figure out the connection I want to use. Then it's going to figure out the database right here. And I'm allowing this in this session, so I don't want agent to ask me this over and over again. And right now, it just found the schema, the database. So now it's going to use something that is going to give me the answer, show me the schema I'm looking for. So again, I know this is simple, but trust me, when you are jumping into a new project and you have no idea what's going on with that project, maybe you're not very familiar with SQL, you can take advantage of GitHub Copilot to get you up to speed. And you can ask a lot of questions here. For example, there is this books underscore author table. I have no idea what is that. So I can simply ask something like this. So let me put this prompt here. I noticed that there is this table. Can you explain me what is that table? So again, I'm not very familiar with T-SQL. I'm more familiar with RMs. I'm more familiar with SQL Alchemy. I'm getting a lot of answers here, a lot of value. And right here, what I got is in my opinion, very good. So it tells me this is a junction table. It's a many-to-many relationship that is happening here between the books and authors table. All good. So yeah, I'm just trying to get a grip of what's going on here. I understand. So let's say I have this idea and somebody said, Carlos, yeah, as I said, Carlos, you need to add more features here. I want you to add a magazines table. I have like this JSON structure. Can you create a table for me using Copilot? Yes, why not? So issue that prompt. Let me share my screen again. There we go. So that with that prompt, once again, just drop, just like inter, it's happening every 15 minutes. There we go. It's up again. Okay, cool. So I got it. So my magazines table is now created. If I jump into a schema designer again, I should be able to see it. But if I refresh here, I see that I have a new table called magazines, and it's an empty table. I can again ask Copilot here to assist me, and this is the beauty. I can ask Copilot to assist me creating mockup data. I can ask Copilot here to assist me creating the model, because remember, this is a project that's using an ORM, and I just pushed some T-SQL code. So I'm kind of trouble here. How do I do reverse engineering? And SQLites don't have reverse engineering to produce a script out of an existing model. So what I will do here is that I will use Copilot, power of Copilot, to assist me creating the model out of this T-SQL that was created for me. So yeah, once again, super basic, but let's focus on the AI feature that I mentioned at the beginning. We have 2 minutes left, so I can make it happen. So in my project, I already have everything here. So I have my backend, my front end running. I have Olema. So I have, this is a local model. So I'm not going to be using anything in the cloud. So it's local running here on this machine. And what I want is I want GitHub Copilot to assist me creating some tables and getting this application ready for AI. So the first thing I'm going to ask is that I need to create a new table. And this table is going to be, let's say, no, I need to modify the books table because I want to create some kind of, let's say, recommendations based on the different books that exist on this database. So I believe I dropped the wrong. There we go. Yeah, I was asking about the table. This is the prompt I'm looking for. Let me just put it on full screen right here. There we go. So I want to add search capabilities to my books table. I want to make it AI ready. How do I add embeddings here? So I'm asking GitHub Copilot here. Obviously, I gave a little bit of context here. This is so important. When you're working with AI, you need to be prescriptive. You need to use like something like spec kit or anything like that. And in this case, I got my alter table, so that's good. And it's asking me, do you want to run it? Yes. And I was like, yes, please, and thank you. And thank you. Let's be polite with AI here. And this is going to create the table for me. But I'm not done yet because this is just one piece, right? So I have the embeddings. It's super easy. It just created the embedded for me with the right vector data type. So what is left to do here is that I have to create embeddings. So I already did that. I have a Python. Let me just grab this really quick. I have a couple Python scripts here. One is to generate the embeddings. So let's do it. Python and py. And this is going to use the local model and it's going to produce embeddings for that table for me. So right now it's happening. All my books are done. So remember about that chat service that I showed you at the very beginning. So let's enable that chat service really quick. And with that, we'll have our chat service running in our app. There we go. And then let's switch to our browser here and let's refresh this to make sure I got it right. So again, this is a super simple demo. I got it. If I do a filter here before adventure books, I can see all the adventure books. But let's say I had thousands of books and maybe I don't have a filter. I can ask my assistant here to give me recommendations for adventure books. So give me a recommendation. Let's say give me a recommendation for adventure books. The prompt is not the best, but I did that on purpose. I want this process to figure out everything for me. And if we switch here really quick to my backend, you see that it's sending the prompt to the LLM. As I said, this is running locally, so I will expect that this is not going to this is not going to be blasting fast like ChatGPT or anything like that. And I got my response back. It's a 200. Okay, so that means that if I check here, voila, you are looking for some adventure reads. Here you have the recommendations, and if we do a cross check here, this is right. It's saying from Earth to the Moon. What's the other one? Journey to the Center of the Earth. So you see that how easy it is to do this, and these Python, and this is the last thing I have to show real quick here. These Python embeddings in my chat service was created 100% using GitHub Copilot here. I use GitHub Copilot to read this schema again because it has the context, and I ask, help me creating an embeddings process using Python. You can do this with T-SQL if you want. There is an option now in SQL Server 2025, but I'm more familiar with Python. I like to do things programmatically. So for me, this is another option I have. I did it with this and it worked. And the same goes for my chat service. And it was just in a matter of minutes. So this is the power you have when you look for the integration deeper here to like tie all the dots, your schema with your project, and you can be very productive and build apps really quickly. So I guess that's all I have, Jasmine. I went a couple of minutes over time because of the technical issues. If you have questions, feel free to ask the questions in the chat. I will pop up to the chat right now. I have it on my cell phone here, so I'm monitoring the chat. So yeah, thank you so much.
Awesome. Yeah, no worries about going over. We're happy to have you as a guest on the series. A couple questions did come in. One of the first questions that came up was around. I need to scroll back here because the chat is
Let me check.
moving really fast.
Oh yeah, it is. I see. Let's see.
There was a question about I think a logic question.
How's the agent? I think the question is how does the agent handle PII? So does it mask it? Yes, exactly that question. So yeah, PII, and there is I can look for that link in the GitHub Copilot Privacy Center or Trust Center. There is a lot of information about there are a lot of information about how we manage PII, everything. We don't like all the information is masked. There is no PII that is sent. And actually, I can show you that. I think there is a debug option here in GitHub Copilot that you can diagnostic. I don't have it here. I can't remember where it is. Maybe it's moved to a different place. But oh, yeah. Yeah, right here. I was looking for this. So this debug is fantastic because it gives you and by the way, I'm sharing my screen. There we go. Thank you. So right here, you can see everything that is happening. So everything that is being sent, let me close this. You can look at everything is being sent. PII is obfuscated by default. We are not using PII for training our models. We don't know what the database name is or anything like that. In terms of queries, all like everything is being sent is merely code. So yeah, I let me find that link for you. And there is guidance on our documentation as well about how we handle that. But yeah, everything is masked. We don't have access to PII. We don't have access to actually see the prompt. We have no access to your data. So really good question.
Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you, and thank you for your question. We shared that link out for the Copilot Trust page, so we got you covered.
Oh, nice. Thank you. And there is a guidance in the specifically for the extension about the how we handle that using GitHub Copilot. So I'm dropping the link to our documentation here from my cell phone. I just did it. Copilot. So it's VS Code MSSQL Copilot docs. So we have plenty of information. I guess I can jump into that.
Carlos, can you share that link in our studio chat so I can send it out?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can do that. Let me do people and studio chat. Here is the link. There we go. And if let me just jump to that link. I could do it on my machine. So really quick. So I'm already there. So here's all the information about the extension. And at the very bottom here, we have related content. And I believe here is the quick start on everything else, limitations, non issues. So yeah, all the questions to your answers are here. I also share a couple of links. One for all our demos. We have a dedicated playlist for all the different demos for the extension. For every single feature we have been released so far, we have a demo. We have a playlist for GitHub Copilot. Other scenarios that you can see, like I mix GraphQL with SQL, lots of interesting things that we have over there.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I don't know if there is any other questions here.
I see there's one question about how by Tinashe about how we can essentially learn more after the stream. You're in the perfect place. You can hop onto the Datathon repository and get some guided exercises on how to use the new AI features in SQL.
Nice. Yeah, and just really quick here, sharing the page for our extension. There is plenty of content here, as you can see, all the different features, links to our demo playlist that I already mentioned. And feel free to reach out if you have questions. You have my LinkedIn information in my title right there. So yeah, feel free to reach out. Actually, if you have feedback, I will encourage you to help us with feedback that makes our products better. If you have ideas for other new features, we have a couple links that I believe are in the chat already, but you can do like something like this. Like I can put it on the chat. I'll put it in the studio chat, and if Anna can help us sharing those links for the audience so they can report bugs or ask for new features. By the way, can I have 1 minute? I have something very important to share. I think that will be
Please do.
very, yeah. So let me share my screen again really quick. So if you want to learn more about what is going on with the extension in terms of what we're doing right now and what is coming next, I encourage you to also try this other link that I'm dropping in the. Oh, sorry, I didn't drop the correct link. So let me go there. So roadmap hashtag 2026. This is the link. So this is where we document everything, so you can see that we have been busy during the last year. So every single feature that we're delivering and we plan to deliver are here. And if we focus to 2026, which is the link I shared, um, here's our plan for February. So you will see some nice surprises there for lots of users that we're asking for this. Backup and restore is done. That will be a new experience in the extension. Basic management to create, drop, or alter databases will be there. There is an ADS migration toolkit that was already in the previous release. If you have been catching up what's going on with the extension, and probably you noticed that when I was creating a new connection, there was a there was a button right here that says import from Azure Data Studio. And so, yeah, we have been working on this because we know the retirement is close. And we have another thing here that you can learn all the new things. This page opens by default when you install the extension for the first time or you update the extension. Lots of resources here. But if we jump back really quick to the roadmap, you see that Profiler is coming. That was the most like number one top requested feature in our repo. So we listened to your feedback. It was not in our original plan, but we pivot, and we know it's important for you. So we have that. There is many different things are coming, and we have some future initiatives here based on feedback. So yeah, this is I would say a good place for you to learn what's going on with the extension. You can understand what are our plans, and if you see that there is something here missing that is very important for you, again, use those links, let us know, share your ideas or feedback with us, and we will like talk about it with the team.
Wonderful. Thank you. We did have one other question by
Sure.
Sylvestre. They asked what LLM is being used under hood. I came to ask to see if they meant for the extension or the demo, but maybe you have a better idea, Carlos.
Yeah, for the demo, the whole demo. So let me just, yeah, there is something going on here. There we go. All right. So for everything I did here in this session, I was using Claude Opus. Our our extension, I would say, like our integration works really good with Opus. I tried with Opus. I GPT 4.0 was the first one we used back in the day. It was like 2025, but so far, I've been using Opus. It works fine. So that works fine. I haven't tried so much with Gemini yet, but yeah, that was the model I was using. And for my local implementation of this simple rag, I was using Olama, and all the information it's here in this README. Let me open this README, close this real quick, and let's switch to this nice view. So everything I did is documented here. All the models I use, and it's here. So if you we there we go, right here. So these are two models. The one I'm using is Llama 3.2, specifically for my RAG implementation, and I have this one for the embeddings. So yeah, those are the models. Hopefully that answered the question.
Yes, they said both. So it's perfect. Great.
And I didn't share the link to this repo, but I will do it right now in the chat, so you can follow this. And by the way, I mentioned, sorry if I interrupted you,
It's okay.
Jasmine. So excited about sharing all this stuff, good content, and it has a dev container. So as I mentioned, I'm running everything using a cloud code space. So that's something you can run on your GitHub account. So drop in the link here to the studio chat. There we go. And if I jump over there, can I do it here? You will see. I mean, just trying to figure out where is my window. There we go. I'm back. So right here, there's a couple buttons. Just click here, open code spaces, and voila, you'll get this environment. You obviously need to follow the instructions to repro this, but the idea is like with a single click, you should be able to do what I did. So hopefully that helps. Again, open to feedback. This is just like very new, so let me know. What do you think?
Oh, great. We actually also have some more questions pop in.
Oh, the more the
Yeah,
merrier.
yes, exactly. So one is from Mike. He says these LLMs are all running on Microsoft resources in our Azure boundary, right? Not third-party APIs.
Uh, so these LLMs are running on MS resources. Okay, yeah. So I'll do my best to explain the implementation of GitHub Copilot, but just just to be fair, I'm not an expert of the internals of GitHub Copilot here. Like there is another team that it's dedicated to that. But as far as I know, yes, all the infrastructure for GitHub Copilot is running in Azure. So when you send something via prompt, that's being sent and then processed by these Azure infrastructure, and then you get your response back. So yeah, that's what I know. It's not a third-party API, but as far as I know, in the VS Code implementation, you can now. Let me just share my screen again. You can have. There are a few options, and just mean feel free to correct me here if I'm wrong. But right here, you can use background. You can use cloud. So I would say that what I was using, it was using the default that is using this local implementation, using what I have in VS Code, but that doesn't mean that you can't do what you want to do or what is better for your case. So you can use background. This is a CLI. Let's imagine I have something like, I don't know, Cloud Code running here. I can use Cloud Code here. I can use a total cloud implementation. And I believe there is another click here that you can have custom agents. So if you want to have a custom agent that uses something different, you can do it. And right here, you can manage models. I did this on the past. I remember I put my API keys to my Codex when Codex was not available here, and I was able to use Codex. So yeah, it's up to you. You can use the default experience. You can use customized experience. So plenty of options for you to work with GitHub Copilot here.
Great. So we got some similar questions about safety and like data usage. So one person asked, best of DT, if I'm implementing semantic search to a project and it's a customer's database, what about compromising their IP? How does that work, like protecting their IP?
That's a great question. So every implementation is different, right? So if you are very afraid of PII and you don't want your data to leave like your environment, you can absolutely run a local model as I did it. So my rack implementation right here is running on my local machine. It's not leaving this machine. All the communication. Sorry, let me open this. Let me close this real quick, and I will show you something here. So if I can, oh, there we go. So this is my chat service. Remember, this is running on top of localhost. Right here, I have an API. It's connected to my local Llama, and if I jump here, just this is my Llama service. Llama service. It's running local. So everything is 100% local here. It's not going to a cloud. And if I show you the ports, all these ports are local. And obviously I can connect by this forwarding that is implemented in this dev container for me. but as you see, everything is running locally. My chat service here is running locally, so it's not leaving to a cloud. It's not going to the cloud. So yeah, that's a way you can have control of everything. Of course, you would need to have the infrastructure to run this. You would need to have these CPUs, GPUs to run your local model. But yeah, that's an excellent question. That's something you can do.
Great.
Uh,
Thank you. I think we knocked out 2 questions with that. Carlos, so sorry to cut you off. Did you have more to add?
no, I think that's it. There is another question I see about NCP integration.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we want to talk about that one. Let's see. It's from Marcelo Miranda. There we go. Yeah, how can I integrate NCP server for MS SQL with Olama server without running the NCQ? Okay, wow, that's a lot of questions. So, um, I guess you're talking about the NCP SQL server here that it's available. So you can run an NCP server whatever you want. So if you look for the NCP server repo, you can download the code and run that NCP server locally if you want. So nothing is stopping you from running that server on a dev container or cloud space or your machine or even a VM on the cloud. So I would say that that's how you can do it. And then it says that the Olama server without running the NCP. I'm not familiar with that DLL you are talking about. And yeah, this is like running that as a Windows service. I don't have a really good answer for that, but what I can say is that yes, you can run that NCP server whatever you want, and without styling, I don't know if that would work because you need the code, you need the server to run. So removing pieces maybe will break the integration, but I'm not super familiar with that implementation. Maybe I can follow up with you offline. Feel free to ping me on LinkedIn. I know the PM that is responsible for that project, so I can connect you with you. I can connect him with you to make sure you get your answer, and hopefully this is something new, or I don't know if it already exists or it's new, and it's good to get some feedback from you, Marcel.
Great.
There
Wonderful.
is a one question, just me if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Really important question. Thanks for sharing. This is from Nick Name. Hopefully I'm pronouncing the name correctly. Does it work on premises system? Yes. This is running on a container. This is running on, let me show you something really quick. My SQL server, and let's go here, Docker ps-a. This is my SQL Server container running
Carlos,
on these. Yeah.
you'll need to share your screen again.
Oh, sorry about that. So thank you
Oh,
so much, Anna. Yeah, there we go. All right. So this is my SQL Server container running inside a container, basically because it's running on code spaces. But I can I simply click here and I can move this dev container to my computer. I can run it on a server. So yes, you can use SQL Server on premises. You can use Olama running on a machine and connect to that model. So yeah, this works the same. And as I mentioned, here's the implementation of the dev container. So if we want to try this out, this is going to provide you with all the different extensions you need, the ports and everything, and the instructions how to make it happen is here. So yeah, feel free to try it and let me know if that in case it doesn't work. You can open an issue in the GitHub repo, we can solve it. And so yeah, it
yeah.
should work.
What I love about the extension too is that it actually makes it super easy to like create a SQL server in a container.
Oh yeah,
So like when you just
yeah.
hop in there, like hop into like creating connections, you can just go ahead and do that. All you need is pretty much have Docker desktop install it, I believe, right?
That is correct. Yeah, in what as I mentioned, if you don't have Docker desktop running or you don't have it installed, it will give you the link. It will give you a link to get Docker install. If it's not running, it's going to do it for you right there. So it was super fast because I
That's so
have everything
fast.
ready. Yeah, that was super fast. But you see that it was checking if Docker is installed, is Docker is started, and it configures Docker. It asks you, right? So because Docker can run in multiple, like have different engines. Let's say you were experimenting with Windows containers. So these container runs on Linux, so we need the engine to be Linux, so it can make that change for you. It will ask you, do you want me to change to a Linux engine? Yes, why not? And once you're ready, from here, let me do it actually. If we have time, I can do it real quick. Uh, Let me create a container here, and let's say a reactor. Why not? Let's add this container to my cloud databases. There are a few advanced options. You want to change the container name. It's going to detect if my port is already in use. By default, SQL Server uses the 1433. This is going to detect that for 1433 is in use. It's going to use the next one available. And right now, maybe this is going to take some time. I don't know. I think I have the image already, but this is going to pull the image. In this case, SQL Server 2025. Then it's going to create a container. It's going to set up everything. It's going to set up the connection for me. So maybe my bandwidth is not the best here. It's taking some time, but yeah, that's how I created this container. So it's super easy, super handy. We are planning to introduce more options for you. Right now, the two options is the local container and Fabric. And as you notice in our roadmap, we want to enable you to also create Azure SQL databases for free. So there is a free tier for Azure SQL database, and just mean you have a plenty of examples how to use it. So we're going to introduce that experience here. So if you want to use the cloud, oh yeah, there was an issue here. I don't know what happened, but guess what? I see. Yeah, it was the port. There's something going on with my dev container here. But yeah, but it's good. That is identifying the port. Maybe I have to use a different port. So I'll take a look at that later.
Great. That's awesome. Thank you for giving us some more demos and some more walkthroughs, Carlos. Appreciate it. I see there's not any additional questions here. Do you see any, Carlos?
Let me check. I am going to navigate here really quick. The on-premise question was the one. Seems like B, you like to need. Okay, there is an interesting question here about from Shane Cook. Seems like you might need a private LLM in Azure VNet. Yes, you can do it. There is. I am not very familiar with Foundry, but in Foundry there is a lot of options, right? And everything is all about privacy. Maybe just mean you have a better answer for that. But I know there is a lot of options you have when you decide to run your LMs in Azure.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah, you have Boundary Local, and yeah, and to your point on just terms of security and stuff like that, Microsoft has a whole guide on trustworthy, responsible AI that you can go ahead and check out as well, if that is a concern for you as well. Um, yeah, I think that's all the questions. Thank you so.
Uh,
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, there's another one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. If we use Azure OpenAI models, which model are currently unsupported, I would say that you should go to the Azure. I don't have the link handy here, but there is a list, and when you hop into the experience, they show you the list of different models that are available for you. So yeah, right there. So yeah, on all the unsupported, I think are removed. So unless you run it locally, you won't be able to do it. But if it's unsupported, you won't be able to do it. Um, there is another comment here. Mike Fortman, that's a good comment. I think everyone's goal is to have options to stay inside Azure tenant boundary, not so much about go out for third parties. Yes, you're right. Yeah, I think that's on point. Let's see. Any other comments on premises? Oh, Foundry local. What else? Amazing. Thanks. Thank you so much for. Oh yeah, there is the catalog. That's it. Where I was looking for.
Mm.
Let's see more questions. I think we run out of questions. ADS. Oh, Azure Data Studio. So yeah, there was a question about ADS.
I think I might just point out that ADS is Azure Data Studio.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Azure Data Studio will be retired at the end of a month. We're in February already. Yes, we're right.
Yeah.
So yeah, yes, we'll be retired at the end of a month. But as I mentioned at the beginning of this, no, while I was going through the roadmap, we listened to your feedback and all the experiences that you were like complaining or being vocal. I would say vocal because that's fair. Like you were complaining because we were not thinking about bringing profiler. Profiler is now there, backup and restore, DAC back. So all of those experiences that were on Azure Data Studio and you were the missing in the extension are coming. So yeah, and let us know. Let us know. As I said, share your feedback. Share, hopping in discussion with us. We look at all the information, all your comments to shape our roadmap. So this is based on you. So you are the most important thing for us, and we want to make sure we give you a really good experience here.
Great. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Carlos. I think that might be all the questions now.
I think so. I think
Great.
so.
Wonderful. Well, we still have, and we actually extended this Reactor session. We scheduled our Reactor session to be 15 minutes, an hour and 15 minutes, because we knew you all would have a lot of questions. So thank you so much for your questions. Thank you so much, Carlos, for sharing the MS SQL extension, and thank you so much for everyone's questions as well. Great.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me here, Jasmine. Very excited. Very excited to show what's coming. Hopefully next soon in SQLCon. There will be a lot of surprises. So stay tuned. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you. And with that, I'm going to quickly show the repository, the SQL Datathon repository. So let me hop over into that. So again, aka.ms/SQL-AI-Datathon will get you here. I am here in the OpenHack page right now. I wanted to give you a little bit more context about the OpenHack Challenge. So this is where you can get a little bit creative after you've gone through the challenge, through the missions. So the objective again is to use SQL, SQL Server 2025 or Azure SQL to implement retrieval augmented generation. And you will either be able to build a RAG-based chatbot agent or a semantic search tool. It's up to you, not both. And you can go ahead and decide which one you want. And then, of course, again, your options are Azure SQL, SQL Server, and to, of course, implement RAG as well, and have clear documentation. And then the other thing about the OpenHack as well is that to submit, you would go to our SQL AI Datathon repository, create an issue, link to your hack repository, as well as record just a small video demo. You don't have to be on it, of just you walking through how your hack works. But you can go to the OpenHack page here on the Datathon repository to look at more details there, including all of the judging criteria that we will be looking for. And by the way, the hackathon closes on, the OpenHack closes on, I believe it's February 26th. I believe it's a Wednesday. So you have about 2 more weeks to get your submissions in. And again, this is for a free ticket to SQLCon. So on that note, I'm gonna quickly hop into the first 2 missions. And the first mission is really about just getting set up. So I'm here in VS Code. And the first step is to create a table. And what this table will create is let me open that up here so you can see. Let me just close this down here. Is a table of products. And notice that there's quite a few fields here in here. And here, this row here, 65, is where we'll be storing our embeddings of 36 dimension. So that is where we'll be storing this. This will be storing and essentially taking our queries, turning them into embeddings, and searching based on that user query. In addition to that, we turn on a couple of features, and also you'll need also this this command here to be able to set up an external endpoint, and we'll walk through exactly what enables in a moment here. So the second part is just loading a table. You can load it the way you want. You can also even use SSMS 2022 to do this. I love to use the import function where you can essentially grab a CSV file and you can just import it directly into your table. But there's directions here on how to do that. And then the next step is to create some credentials. Essentially, what you'll do is you'll walk through these steps, and what you'll end up with is a external credentials, as well as credentials for an external model. And so this is one of the new features available in SQL Server 2025, the create external model function. You set the location. This is usually your endpoint. The API format. This could be Azure OpenAI. This could be Olama, and I'm forgetting the other ones as well. But either way, this is essentially for creating embeddings. And then you can have some additional parameters in here. So mine is called my embedding model. And continuing on, we have another option here for either using Azure AI Foundry, or excuse me, Microsoft Foundry models, or Azure OpenAI. And you also have the option for using GitHub models. And GitHub models is actually a free option. And let me show you what that looks like here. You can actually look through the models catalog and try it out in the playground. So these are free, and you can read into the documentation about kind of any limitations, but there's quite a few. In fact, in this demo, I'll be using GPT-5 Mini and an embedding model here. Let me hop into that. OpenAI text embedding 3 small for my demo here. Okay, so just to wrap up here, let's run a quick search with this query here. We'll be looking for, let me just hop in here. Anything for a teenager boy passionate about racing cars. He owns an Xbox, likes to build stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and run this. And what this opens up here is the embedding that, and this is the query that got turned into an embedding. And then this is a result of the search of for those particular items. So if I kind of scroll through here, I can see my search here. I run this query here, and here's another function I'm using here called vector search. You specify the table, the name of the column. My column name is embedding. The column in this walkthrough is called embeddings, and so you specify the column. This is the query vector, and this is where we take that user's query here and turn that using our embedding model that we created in step 2, step 3, and we turn that into embeddings with this AI generate embeddings function. Again, you don't have to leave what you're working on in your table to be able to generate embeddings at this point. So again, walking through here, looking for products that have close similarity, and you can see that these seem pretty close, right? Legos, RC toys, things like that, PlayStation, stuff like that. So this is great. And again, I'm using the MSSQL extension here just to let you know. And the next step here is chatting with your data. So now we use our embedding model to test our queries. And the next step here is to use a chat model or a chat model to do retrieval augmented generation. Essentially, this gives our chat model a lot more context on what is in our data. So here, going through the steps here. For our chat model, we're going to actually use the external REST endpoint function here, and this allows us to access our model. And then again, I'm using GitHub models to do this, and that's where you're seeing here. We have options between using GitHub models or using models from Microsoft Foundry. And what this gives you at the end is let's take a look here. Let the query execute in a moment. Let me close my door. Okay, and hopefully this won't take too long. It's taking a moment, but essentially what I'll get is a response with there we go. This is the raw response. This is just the REST response. And then this is my chat response here. We'll just open this up in JSON here. And then here we go. And then it also adds thoughts on why. the model selected this item. So essentially, we searched for similar items, and then we gave that context to our model, and the model selected the right item for us. And we did that through a huge prompt at the top here. And again, you can look at this prompt in detail in the repository. The next step, I won't run, but essentially what we're doing is creating structured output. So we're creating a JSON output, and this is going to set us up for the mission 3 and 4. And here, for the store procedures, these store procedures step here, we are also going to use for mission 3 and 4. These are a repeat of the things that we just did in the previous steps in each mission. And all we're doing is just turning these into reusable store procedures so that we can use them in our apps and in the notebooks in mission 3 and 4. So if that's pretty much everything that I want to walk through, let me see if there's anything else that I might be missing in terms of links here. If you're thinking about the open hack and you're thinking about what you want to do, I highly recommend you check out the Budget Bytes samples repository. We have two demos out now, and we just dropped a new episode, and this is a series where we show you how to use Azure SQL at low cost, under $25. And the first episode, it was built for free, and I believe this next demo here, the insurance AI application is actually under, I believe, $10 to run. So if that's of interest to you and you're looking for some inspiration, go ahead and check that out. And that's aka.ms/budgetbytes. And on that note, remember that you can always take advantage of the Azure SQL database offer. This is available to you as long as your Azure subscription exists. So definitely check that out as well if you're looking to get started with SQL for free. And then these are just the functions that we were using today. So create starter model and AI generate embeddings. That is everything. Thanks for those of you who were able to stay a little bit longer to walk through the missions and talk a little bit more about the open hack as well. If you have any additional questions, if you're running into issues, you can always add a issue on this repository. And also, reach out to us on LinkedIn. You see my LinkedIn there as well. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you build and what you do, and how you all are faring through this datathon. Thank you so much again to Carlos for hopping on and sharing all those cool features with MS SQL extension. And thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you at the next one. Same time next week, Thursday. We'll be talking through missions 3 and 4 and talking about the data API builder. All right. Thank you all so much, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.
Thank you all for joining, and thanks again to our speakers. This session is a part of a series. To register for future shows and watch past episodes on demand, you can follow the link on the screen or in the chat. We're always looking to improve our sessions and your experience. If you have any feedback for us, we would love to hear what you have to say. You can find that link on the screen or in the chat. And we'll see you at the next one.